Hey folks, what's happening? We're going to talk about some dry fire. Okay, so I did cut up a video, was going to do like 2 or 3 minutes from a couple nights, 3 or 4 nights of dry fire, and show you like a little conglomeration of what I'm doing. But I lost 1 or 2 of them, and I just don't have the time to do it again or to edit it all. So I'm just going to kind of act like this is a live video, and we're going to talk about a few things. Main thing we're going to talk about is how to gain consistency with your trigger press, right? And what we're going to talk about is prepping, okay? Now, there may be a few things in here that hurt some feelings, because we are going to talk about resetting and prepping in recoil, and we are going to talk about the benefits of not pinning, okay? Of not pinning and resetting, okay? Pinning, resetting, click banging is what I like to call it. Okay, we're going to talk about why that is no bueno. We're going to talk about the origins of that. So right now, just getting into it, when Jerry Barnhart and Rob Latham, like there was a few other guys, but those two were like the big two that started coming out all of a sudden, and they were the first ones to go away from Weaver and start shooting straight on, and they were also the first ones to start doing like thumbs forward and things like that. And they started smoking everyone, like just. Even Jerry Mitchell talks about it to where he had to adapt and change. You know, that guy is arguably the best all-around shooter ever. Probably not even that arguable, okay? Revolvers, semi-auto handguns, 3 guns. I mean, he's just one of those. He's probably the best shooter ever, all around, okay? He even says, hey, we were just getting smoked by these guys because they all of a sudden came out with a new style that nobody had really seen, and it was better. I mean, the timer and the scores don't lie, okay? So it took a lot of people a long time to understand that that was better and to adapt that style, and then they just kept building on that style until here we are, 2019. You know, that style is obviously, it reigns supreme. And I'm not talking about actual isosceles. I'm just kind of talking about what I like to use is a athletic fighting stance where one foot is slightly in front of the other, but stance really doesn't have anything to do with it. For the most part, our top triangle is much more important than our bottom triangle. Our top triangle being the triangle that from the chest line out to the gun and back forms a triangle. Our bottom triangle is from the neckline down to our feet. That also forms a triangle. So the bottom triangle not being as important, although it does come into play, and we do want to be athletic and loose so that we can move very, very quickly. But the top triangle, once we develop that index point, that triangle stays the same. Whether we're moving and shooting, leaning over, laying down, it doesn't really matter. All of it's the same. So that's an index point that we have to figure out. But going back to Jerry Barnhart and Rob Latham figuring all this shit out, the click banging and resetting and recoil thing, they reset and recoil from all the way back then. All right, they never used pinning and resetting and then click banging. Okay, click banging means you reset, bang. Okay, click bang. Okay. They never really did that. That came around from Glock. That was a Glock marketing ploy to say that, oh, now you can really tell, because think about it. You got 1911s, you got Berettas back then, you got Browning high powers. They do not have a positive tactile reset. They do not have a big click reset, all right? Beretta. 92 right here. All right, bang. Barely nothing. You can't hardly feel it at all. Okay, and this has an amazing trigger in it. All right, amazing trigger. This gun is legit. It's a Langdon Beretta with a Langdon trigger. It's sick. So that didn't have it. You know, 1911s. There's no real tactile click reset in a 1911. It's just barely moving. So where did that click pinning, you know, click banging thing come from? It came from Glock. Glock came out and said, oh my God, look at this. Oh, marketing. Next thing you know, they're pushing it. okay? And then next thing you know, just like anything else, you got goober instructors out there that are like, oh my God, yeah. Even though the best shooters in the world don't use that technique, yeah. Let's push that. Let's regurgitate that. Next thing you know, 30 years later, here we are. All right? So understand that none of the very best shooters in the world use that technique. All right? I would sit here and use up the next 10 minutes of this explaining why. But just understand, just trust me, truly trust me, that none of the very best shooters in the world use that technique. None of the very best shooters in the world click bang. They don't. All right? They don't. Transitioning from one target to the other, in between recoil, boom, boom, they do not use that technique. Okay? What they do use is reset and recoil. And that means bang, as the gun's going off, okay, guns here, fingers coming off, reset, reprep, bang. Okay, it's all one big thing. So I'm going bang, 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 bang. And guess what? The one thing that I can say to make you understand this, if you can, click banging, okay, shooting reset, is the gun telling you when you can shoot. Okay, I gotta waiting for that click. Wait, click. Oh, there we go. Okay, resetting and recoil, bang, bang, bang. Okay, resetting as fast as I possibly can and reprepping. That's me telling the gun when it can do shit, and that's how I like to shoot. All right, and then just understand, please, I'm not trying to bag on anybody. I'm not trying to say that this is so stupid, because it does work to a certain extent. But it is a plateau technique. The best shooters in the world do not use it. And it leads to, in my experience, teaching beginners, teaching intermediate, teaching really high level shooters, it's the one thing that I see people pulling shots that they shouldn't have pulled more often than anything. And then when I dive a little deeper and I get into what they're doing, as they're transitioning over to that smaller piece of steel, or as they're transitioning over to that shot that needs to be taken pretty precisely, they're coming over, pinning, click bang. And it's just, it is so easy to pull shots like that. And also, it's very, very easy to get yourself out of it. So please don't take it, personally, that I'm bagging on pinning and resetting. And understand that it's just a simple, stupid-ass Glock marketing ploy. It was never, it's just not done by the best shooters in the world. It was never designed to be done by the best shooters in the world. It was straight up Glock saying, hey, our trigger, it sucks in every other way, but it resets and it tells you. Like, let's use that. So, you're competing with the other guns with better triggers. You got to come up with something. And I shoot Glocks, so I'm not talking shit on Glocks either. So it's just, you got to know what it is. Understand what it is. Anyway, now let's talk about how to get better at prepping. All right? We build our grip. Our grip is really good. Our top triangle index is really good. All right? Ding, 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 ding. We can throw that gun up every single solitary time, right up in the same spot. We've worked that. We're working that grip, building that grip, building that grip, building that top triangle. Every time, right? We're getting that right. Are we going to let this little bastard right here screw up our whole shit now? Are we going to let this ruin our whole setup, ruin our shots? No. Okay, so how do we mitigate that? How do we get that to the point where we can rock and roll every single time and really have that confidence to know that if I put these sights where I want them and pull that trigger, that damn shot's going to go where I want it to? How do we gain that? Prepping. All right, so if you think about it, if I take my trigger and go all the way through, that is a lot of movement where I can potentially screw that up and pull something. But if I prep really, really well, okay, if I learn to prep all the way down and then go doink, that tiny bit of movement there at the last bit of my trigger, that's not going to throw me off. My grip and everything is too good. Even one-handed, even weak-handed. If I grip and I really prep, okay, see, something to work on. Okay, this isn't my gun, but excuses. Okay, prep, 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 Okay, it's where it's at, right? We have to be able to prep. Now, for transition work and to be better and better and better at prepping and faster at it, prepping and being better and better and better at resetting and recoil and letting out and going right back to that prep point. Bang, 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 right back to that prep point. A couple drills that I'll have you use. Now, this one drill that's a really, really good drill is going to require you to pin the trigger, all right? But this is simply because it's in dry fire, all right? So do not think that I'm telling you to pin it after I just talked shit about that for 10 minutes. All right, so first things first, we'll draw. We got 2 targets set up, a fairly reasonable transition to swing over to. What we're going to do is we're going to draw and prep. No trigger pull. No trigger pull at all. Then we're going to go break, all right? As you fly over to that next target, prep, break, right in the A zone, all right? That's going to get you better at being prepped, okay? But then it's going to get you better at breaking as soon as you land on target, right? And that's also going to get you better at prepping. It's going to get you better at breaking, okay? Now, on the way back, pin your trigger, reset the gun. Pin trigger still, lined up on that target. As we go back to the first target, we're going to go let off, reset, and prep. So, prep, break, reset, and prep. Awesome. Awesome drill. Anytime that you can work that reset and prep. So we're going to break the trigger, we're going to hold it, reset the gun, holding, pinning that trigger, reset and prep. Break, reset and prep. Break, reset and prep. Telling you, that right there, along with just simply working prep. In dry fire, I don't break the trigger that often at all. I really don't. I either do where I will I'll take a piece of paper and I'll fold it up a couple times. Okay, fold it up into a little ball, and I'll put it in my breech face. And with M&Ps and several other guns, you don't have to do this. But with Glock, you have to put it in your breech face. You go like this. Okay, now you've got a trigger you can press. So I work most of my dry fire either with this or, okay, actual trigger, but I'm just prep, 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 okay? Telling you, prep, 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 prep. You'll hear me say prep about 780,000 times in one of my classes, all right? Because we do tons of stuff where I'm just going prep, bang, prep, bang. Okay, we work that, and then we also do just a ton of shit on that, a bunch of little different drills. But I just want you to think about simply using that prep instead of actually breaking your trigger. Because that last little bit of break is nothing. But to be able to throw your gun out in your fast draw and go prep and it be right there, okay? But you're good. You got it under control, right? So you're not going out and accidentally banging off a shot, right? You're able to prep, and then you break the shot when you want to. That's how you get that 0.8 draw where you can always hit an A, because you're drawing the gun at about 0.6. I'm drawing my gun very, very fast, right? So from the holster to the actual target, that's 0.5, 0.6. Then, as I go out, I'm prepped. All I gotta do is fish around, make sure that I'm in the A, confirm, bang. Okay? Prep, bang. Prep, bang. It's so easy once you get this prep done. And then you're building your grip and building your top triangle, and you learn that prep, dude. Killing it.